Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Reedport School District monthly school board meeting. Would everybody take rise for the pledge of allegiance? Pledge of allegiance.
And to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice.
I'd like to point out the great job our students in the audience did this evening on the pledge of allegiance. Well done.
Nice.
Nice voices. We do have a quorum. There are some changes to the agenda. We will be removing number F from the consent agenda and adding D to the active agenda.
Do you want to go to the language of that?
D. To approve the D that we're adding is going to approve the superintendent's contract. Whatever we just got that meeting on. And now the best part of the whole evening, everybody, all the little ones out there ready and waiting.
Righty.
Calculate superintendent awards.
So superintendent awards are the one opportunity all year that a teacher has to select the student that they work with and highlight what's going on classroom, how great that student is in contributing, whatever excellent things are going on. There are times for our school board to get to hear about the great work we see in our schools every day because they're not in there with us every day. And I have a personal thing I like to do when these happen. I like to listen for themes. What is the common things that we hear in all these letters and all these stories about kiddos? So as you're listening to the stories, try to pick out what some of the themes are. Amber, can I start with you? Ms. Foster has brought Sean Carlazone with her.
That's right here. This side. All right, to the parents of Sean, it is my absolute privilege to inform you that Sean has been awarded February Superintendent Award winner 2025. From day one, Sean has been a bright light in our classroom this school year. As a part of our first grade curriculum, we work hard on being good humans. We emphasize kindness, respect, and responsibility, and Sean embodies these qualities every day. He is not just a wonderful student, he is also kind and a caring friend. Whether he's looking out for classmates or including someone who might feel left out, Sean shows compassion and willingness to lend a helping hand. I witnessed him actively who might otherwise not have anyone to play with, and I couldn't be prouder of the kindness he spreads throughout our classroom. Moreover, Sean's respectfulness and sense of responsibility stand out. He consistently uses his manners without needing constant reminders. His patience shines through when he helps fellow students with kind words. Sean's strong work ethic is evident in the way he diligently completes his assignments before playtime. He takes great pride in submitting work that is neat and beautifully written. His eagerness to learn and participate in classroom discussions, along with his respectful sharing of thoughts and questions, set an inspiring example for his peers. It is truly an honor to be Sean's first grade teacher. I am excited to watch him to continue to grow and learn to the amazing student he is becoming. Thank you, Sean, for being a remarkable human.
So, yeah, certificate. Congratulations, this is your award.
All right.
Thank you. And another first grade student, there's Zane here today. Mrs. Kaufman has Zane Graham with her. Zane, come on up to stand up on that step. A little taller. Good to see you. Excited?
Congratulations.
Sure.
Hey, dear family of Dane Brown. I was asked to pick just one of my sweet first grade students to be the Reed Sports Student of the Year. This was a difficult decision that I labored over because I have the sweetest class. Yet our little Zane Graham is a student who continued to catch my eye. I continue to see him as the first example to follow the rules, to raise the bar, to be kind, to forgive, and to use his words, not his hands. He has the ability to ask deep questions and add important information to classroom conversations because he pays close attention. These are only a few of the things he tries hard to do. Zane holds himself to a high bar. He has some of the best handwriting in the class. He works hard to make sure it looks neat and orderly. He understands that quality is more important than being the first one finished on an assignment. This is a higher level thinking for a first grader. He raises his hand and is so quiet in class, even when the other students are not. I can't help but smile when I see him following the rules when everyone else has forgotten. I make sure that he has plenty of runaround time when he can go outside and play hard. He really does deserve it. What a sweet boy. He has many friends and can make them easily because of his sweet disposition. It wasn't easy when he first came to Highland. I've seen him grow, and I have appreciated his efforts at such a young age. He has tried to improve, and so his grades have also improved exponentially. He and his family should be very pleased. I am very happy to see Zane's happy face every morning as he comes into school. He is a great friend to his classmates and a great role model to the class. Zane has great attendance, which we know is important for continued learning. I have no doubt that Zane will continue to lead the way with the same kind of generosity and kindness that he shows today. His big heart and ability to know the difference between right and wrong will keep him out of trouble. He will find his way through life treating others with the openness and fairness that naturally is such a big part of his personality. Thank you, Zane, for being the kind of person that I look up to, and for being the person that completed our classroom for the 2024 and 2025 school year.
Okay. Moving into high school. Mr. Adams. And as Mr. Adams brought Lenora Levy with him. You don't have to stand the step either you want to.
To the family of Lenora Levy. Lenora is a student who embodies all the qualities of strong scientific mind. She is dedicated to learning, willing to correct her mistakes, and insightful about learning from her experiences. Lenora comes to class every day committed to gaining knowledge from each lesson. She actively takes notes to retain our discussions and asks clarifying questions to ensure she understands the material. When she encounters challenges or makes mistakes, Lenora takes action. She inquires about how she can improve for the next time and works to correct her answers to enhance her learning. Additionally, she conducts extra research to deepen her understanding and boost her performance. Her hard work helps her to learn from her past errors and continue improving. When mistakes happen, she quickly addresses them, whether by coming in early or staying after school to catch up. Lenora has also developed the confidence to advocate for herself and identify her needs to succeed. For all these reasons I mentioned, this is why I'm proud to present Lenora Levy with the Reedsport School District Superintendent Award for February.
Oh, don't stay down yet.
We're doing
Oh, no.
the photo.
And everybody leaves.
Oh,
Couple minutes.
oh, wait, then.
This is
So those 3 students, if we get one group, this is our February batch. So Mrs. Hoffman, Mrs. Foster, and Lenora, and Jamie, Sean, come back up one more time. And parents, you can jump in, be a bonus here also. This is one we'll use for our website.
All right. Ready?
Yeah.
Over here and smile for me. I'm gonna take a couple, make sure I get everybody looking and everybody smiling. Okay, thank you.
All right.
That's all February. We have a few more for January, so. We have so much illness in the district, we're doubling down and catching up, so. So I agree with. Thank you, guys. Otto and Joe.
She talked to them, not the mayor.
I will be on the next one month.
Yes.
Good. And you got Karina with you? Yeah. So Karina Arrington is here, and her teacher, Mr. Kimball. Your signature there for the. Everybody's got the same.
It's been a long one. To the family of Karina Arrington. As we gather today to celebrate the achievements of our students, it is with immense pride and joy that I present the prestigious Superintendent Award to this remarkable young individual. In the realm of education, we often encounter students who stand out for various reasons, but Karina's exemplary attributes make her the beacon of inspiration in our academic community. This accolade not only recognizes her hard work, but also celebrates the unique qualities that make her an integral part of our learning environment. From the moment Karina stepped into my classroom, it was evident that she possessed a distinctive drive and resilience that sets her apart from her peers. In the face of challenges, rather than falter, Karina embraces each task with an unyielding spirit. She approaches every assignment with determination that is both admirable and motivating. Karina always dives headfirst, demonstrating a profound commitment to her education through perseverance. When confronted with a challenging topic, her instinct is not to give up, but to push harder. She is relentless in her pursuit of understanding, willing to seek clarification and ask questions and engage in discussions. Karina embodies what it means to be a lifelong learner, and her passion for education inspires not just her classmates, but also those fortunate enough to teach her. Karina possesses a quality that transcends grades and accolades, kindness. It is said that character is what you do when no one is watching, and Karina exemplifies this principle in her everyday interactions. With a warm smile that radiates positivity, she has a unique ability to create a welcoming atmosphere in the classroom. It is not uncommon to see her lending a helping hand to a fellow struggling student. Her willingness to assist others speaks volumes about her character. She genuinely cares for her peers' success and well-being. It is heartening to see how Karina spreads positivity among her peers. As an educator, we often hope to cultivate not only learners, but individuals with strong moral values. Karina undoubtedly achieved both. Setting an extraordinary example for her classmates, her accomplishments reflect not only her own efforts, but also values we strive to instill in our students: hard work, persistence, and kindness. As I stand here today to present Karina with the Superintendent Award, I am reminded of the impact one individual can have on a community. Karina is not just a role model student, she is also a kind soul who enriches the lives around her. Her determination, coupled with her compassion, creates a powerful combination that has made our school a better place. I have high hopes for her future, and I am confident that she will continue to spread her light wherever she goes. In conclusion, it is with great honor that I present Karina with this award. She embodies every quality we cherish in our educational community, and her contributions will not go unrecognized.
And last, but certainly not least, Danny's here, his teacher, Miss McKenna.
Okay.
This is number 2, right? Yeah, you just gonna rack them up. Something like varsity boy can you can super ones. Pretty cool.
Okay, dear Richard, Christy, and family, I am pleased to write this letter to formally recognize Danny's outstanding achievements and dedication in his academic pursuits. His hard work and persistence have not gone unnoticed, and it fills me with pride to have him as part of my 7th period class. Danny's work ethic, determination, and tenacity in finishing what he has started are qualities that make him a natural leader in my classroom. It is with great pleasure that I acknowledge his hard work and grit and the impact it has on our class, specifically his fellow students. His accomplishments are a testament to the effort and discipline he consistently puts into his work, and I am certain he will continue to achieve great things. On behalf of the RCCS staff, I would like to extend my congratulations and express my gratitude for his dedication. I'm confident that he will continue to be a role model to his fellow students and contribute positively to the school community. I look forward to seeing all the great things Danny will accomplish in the future.
All right, Karina, Danny, Miss Steve, and gosh, we have one more picture here real quick. This is the January batch of superintendent awards. I'll give away to Charlie here.
Oh yeah, go grab your award.
Great. Go, smile, and excellent. Thank you.
I heard kindness, I hear role models, positive role models, and energy, and just the things that we appreciate about our students. So thank you, parents and families, for raising such great children and letting us have them for the day.
All right. Moving along. Hard to follow. We need comments.
No community comments, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, sir. And reports, let's move into reports.
Mr. Chairman, the ARE president has bronchitis, she says, and so will not be here tonight. She will come back in March 40th. She said, please send her apologies for being sick, and I said, that's probably okay. Yeah. Sorry.
And what about, ARESP?
Yeah, ARESP is here.
All right.
So Carrie Zubek.
Good evening, board members. Our classified unit would like to express our immense gratitude and appreciation for the outstanding efforts and leadership shown by Mr. Zwemke and Mrs. Watts this year. Their dedication and commitment to both staff and students at Highland have truly been exceptional. Throughout this school year, Mr. Zwemke and Mrs. Watts have gone above and beyond in their role as both principal and vice principal. They continue to demonstrate positive leadership, fostering a supportive environment for everyone at the school. Their hard work, energy, and thoughtful approach to challenges have not only improved our daily operations, but has also contributed to the overall successes of our students and staff. Their dedication is making a remarkable difference. Additionally, the classified staff would like to extend a special thank you for the recent decision to call one of our members back to work after being laid off. We are pleased that one of our members has now returned to work for the district at RCCS. This action has been deeply appreciated by all and has made a profound impact on the well-being and morale of the entire team. Having this valued member return helps strengthen the sense of community and support that is so vital to our work. Please know how much we appreciate the hard work that goes in to these decisions and how they resonate with our school community. We hope to see our other members recalled in months to come. Thank you, and we look forward to continuing our work together to create an environment where we can all thrive.
Assistant Business Manager Josh Cook.
Hello, everyone. So we got a few things to go through. I'm writing you guys a lot of information this month. We will just start with the usual summary that looks like this. There are a few changes on it this month as I gather information. One of the noticeable ones is in our expenditures. There's a 1.3 million estimate in April. That is based off of our pre-billing for our LSP order. So that's for like life skills, business services, online learning, and other OT/PT needs and stuff. So South Coast currently has given us a pre-bill of about 1.2 million. I continue to adjust our state school fund estimate until March 1st or 2nd. ODE has to provide us new estimations. So on that day, I hope to be able to get a more accurate number for that estimate in June. But that number will fluctuate until I'm able to calculate something else. And we have our actual beginning fund balance in there now as well. As the auditor talked about. Was there any questions about this?
Any guesstimation at all what's gonna happen with that state report? you were talking about?
Oh, the estimation?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm going a little bit off of last year. I can't remember the number exactly off my head, but I mean, we were like 300 and something, 400,000 total. So I'm kind of using that as a basis. Also, we had to adjust our, as I've talked about, adjust our state school fund down about 30 students. And a lot of districts have, I know that basically everyone in the South Coast has had to unfortunately report declining enrollment. But the ADM dollars, student dollar is roughly 10,000, so 30 students is roughly 300,000. So, yeah, we'll see what those provide, but the negative 275 number gives us an underestimation of about 433. So, 300 plus a little wiggle room. I provided you Q2 and Q1 and Q2 differences from this year to last year. For Q1 and Q2 combined, our expenditures, you can see in purchase services and supplies and materials. We're doing significantly better than last year. Purchase services, which is like maintenance and repairs, transportation, other things of that nature, were about 500,000 less than last year, and supplies and materials were about 100,000 less than last year. Any questions about the quarter updates? I also gave you guys an appropriations. That's what we approved in the budget, what we have to watch. Our appropriations are looking good. The only one that I'm gonna need to keep a close eye on is our Fund 200s and our Function 3000. Currently with our actuals and our predicted encumbrances, we're coming in about 12,000 below. So I'll just need to watch that in case we have to do a supplemental budget before the end of the year. I was able to follow up on your question from last month. What I found out, and I haven't got anything official from ODE yet.
Clarify the, I mean, when you reiterate the question, so you can.
Yeah, so you're asking about the rural schools bill not being passed. Yeah. Yeah, it didn't seem like it even came up for vote, what I could find out, so they didn't necessarily turn against it. Yeah, just sunsetted. But it is called the Secure Rural Schools and Self-Determination Act. It typically it would relate to federal forest monies.
That's what I thought.
Yeah,
That was my concern. Is that 60,000
we,
that we
the
expect in May?
last 3 years, we've gotten 66, 61, and 67,000 roughly.
Okay, and that's gonna sunset this year? You're not anticipating that we'll receive it this year, or is it in the future?
It looks like next year. I
Okay,
haven't received it. ODEs, who I typically wait till to say like absolute, like for sure. I haven't received anything from ODE yet.
okay,
But from what I read, I am still anticipating this year's, but not next year.
okay. So a little leeway. And I think we talked about that when you weren't here. That was my question, because that rural schools act, it's sunsetted, they did not pre-approve it, which they have done for 30 years. And I assumed that that federal forest fee money was in that,
Yeah. So
based on its description, so
I'll keep looking out to see if ODE, COSA, one of our groups has something
I didn't want.
formal put
Okay.
out, and I'll update if anything
Yes,
does.
thank you.
And And then we have our proposed budget calendar that we'll have to take action on during actions. So we can talk about it now or in actions. Currently, the proposed budget committee dates are Tuesday, May 20th and Thursday, May 29th.
It's like we've heard back from 3 people thus far who will be have agreed to serve again.
Correct, yeah, Sharma said you've heard back from 3, the other 2, not sure yet.
Jack, do you know if your committee member is coming?
What's that?
Do you know if your committee member is gonna join us?
Have I got a committee member?
Mhm.
Who won?
This is your right. Yeah, to do it.
No, yeah.
Huh?
We can probably get Pam. I'm sure she'd suffer through another year.
I'll just need you guys to make sure you're available those days and if those work for you.
I'm trying to verify that I need to write smack in the or graduation, that I need to be out of the days.
I mean, we can move them around, this is just.
I need to confirm that graduation date is. That was. Thank you, have you said, should I say, sure, here. Date. The. You know, 28, 20th to the 23rd.
The 20th would be the only day that I have. 20th is questionable for me too. I'm free. What's you on Tuesday night in May? You have to look at my calendar for that.
For that week. We can look at Monday the 19th, or we can look. Week before. Again, it'd be a Monday or Friday.
A Thursday doesn't work that way.
I'm gone. from
Oh, that's right, you're gone. Okay. Apologize.
June 19th to the 29th.
I did hear you.
Sorry.
The 19th is fine. I'm sure coming again.
Oh, I think mine's probably pretty open. I don't really see. Probably going on.
Are you adjusting? Monday,
I don't-
19th? John, that one works for you?
18 and 29.
The 19th and the 29th. Of Monday. At the same time, since we wouldn't adjust it.
No, if you guys like the times, then we'll keep it 4 o'clock.
We encourage community members to volunteer for the budget committee, so if you know anyone who really wants to get into the details.
And are there any further questions on financials? Perfect, we'll take action on the calendar later.
Oh, yes, I do have one question. With the
have there been any current grant freezes or any significant impacts from what we're seeing at the federal level right now?
I have not currently, the latest, this might have been a week and a half ago or so, I believe it was ODE or ASBO provided me an update. I can pull it up per paragraph, but it basically said in short that there are no impacts
Okay.
in education at this time, but that's- but currently we haven't experienced any freezes.
Thank you.
Yeah, none for education. What I think a lot of the activity we're seeing at the federal level does is signal that energy is being directed towards some of the two changes. The superintendent group spent a lot of time talking about that the last 2 days in our meeting as well. And signals are usually indicative of what we need to watch for. The executive order that any president puts out doesn't create change as much as signal intentions. Several of the things that are being discussed require congressional movement, but when there's efforts to cause changes, there's lots of channels. Something that was given as, I think, a very good example. Right now, the Department of Education maintains Perkins grant money, and that's career technical education. If the Department of Education was taken apart, disbanded, Perkins grant money is in law and it has to happen. And maybe gets moved to the Department of the Interior under workforce, something, just in a different place, because the grant still has to may not be issued by the same federal department that it's been for the last couple of years. But until something changes legislatively about how that money is put together and how it's supposed to be spent, it has to live somewhere. So part of what we have to pay attention to isn't what some of the signals are that go up from anything political right now, but pay attention to what the Congress is doing to change any laws and therefore any funding that would be associated with those laws. So watching right now gives us an indication what we're paying attention to, but not to worry just yet until we see Congress doing things. Whether a grant comes out of a Department of Ed or Department of Interior, the grant still has to be there. So we will see some changes and some moves. Where it comes from, I think is kind of still undetermined, and that's what we're trying to pay attention to. Federal dollars, district about 12%. Remember, right? And that's just the state average. But 12% of our budget, the state average that coming from federal sources is a concern for us. So if all those were to go away, that would be worse than last spring. So definitely something we have to watch. Right now, nothing is happening, but because executive orders and things have been happening, those are signals that there is effort in make some sort of change happen. How it comes about or if it comes about is what we don't know. That clear for example? Right, I mean, we won't know until we know.
The great unknown.
Yeah,
There is none.
well, and the challenge of the budget committee in 3 months is gonna take an unknown and try to anticipate what the revenues will be for next school year. And whether or not we'll be 12% short. 12% of our budget, the $1.2 million would be pretty significant. The other element that's gonna be tough for the budget committee is last biennium, the long session, I don't think we got a state school number until May 23rd. School was almost over before they gave us any indication what we should be building the budget on. And our budget committee meeting about that time may be operating in the dark. That's a,
Are we doing anything legislatively at this, like any movement at the state level about how are they looking at changing?
no, but the governor's recommended budget came out fairly optimistically.
Right.
At that level, I think that there's a glimmer of hope. The concern though is will Ways and Means, various committees accept that? Will the legislation vote on it? Will they increase it? And they got to get through their entire session, and money is always the last thing they talk about. So if they go for the entire session, we won't know until the end of May. What they end on. There does seem to be a two-front of investing in education, putting a whole lot of accountability on outcomes. So it's going to be some expectation of delivering money and expecting to see outcomes as a result of that money. I think back to No Child Left Behind. That kind of thinking process.
So if we're supposed to get that information from the governor on the 30th of May, I mean, we're still gonna be kind of too far ahead in our budget committee.
But we still need to talk about what we need to try to do to operate. And we may not have the right revenue. We can have a pretty good ballpark. We'll have some indicators by then of where we think it's trending. But until they say it's done and here's the number to use, we'll be a little bit in it.
Yeah, a little bit. I mean, there's always good indicators and everything, and we have to be careful to have everything done in time and our budget approved in time. That way we can spend money for the next year. So there's a tight, window we have to work with there.
June 30th.
Well, again, if the governor doesn't give us enough money to operate, or, I mean, what's that gonna do to our budget? We're gonna have to go back to.
This year, we projected to start the year in May at 590 students, and we adjusted in September down to 560. There are some mechanisms for us to readapt. One thing that is guaranteed about any budget that you do as a school district is as soon as you write it, approve it, it's wrong. It changes immediately. Just always something. So mechanisms that we have allow us to account for that there. And if we have to battle some budget, some crazy scenario, that's allowed to.
Fluctuations for the spring, do you anticipate based on history, sort of a spring bump, or is it a spring decline? What's the trend usually as we come out of winter?
A spring steady.
Okay.
I don't think it's gonna
So those were fluctuating.
in, and I won't see a whole bunch of new students out after you get through the winter. That tends to be about the right spot. So
Okay.
if we're at 550, we might need to pay attention to what we're spending. We'll fall off, we get down to 560.
Okay. No.
Five,
Good for the season. On
two,
on the 1st of February, I should. But 258 and 284. Buildings respectively.
Any other questions of Josh?
Nope.
Thank you, John.
Thank you.
All right, let's move into the superintendent's report.
I want to lead with food service. Ask them to kind of show me how things are going. And hopefully as you're listening to this, picking up on some of the value that the staff have brought to our budget, to our district, to our overall productivity. This year's usage of Farms CMP grant has been expanding. He was able to completely spend the grant just under $6,000. And by doing so, put him in a position to reapply for a competitive grant twice for an additional $18,000 CMP grant dollars. So that's nice that somebody's able to pay attention to keep us actively grabbing available money that's put up in this competitive grant. Previously, we haven't been able to give out those dollars farm to school is where we are able to use local resources, vendors, fishermen, farmers, purchase produce items from them and put it into our school cafeterias. So locally, 3 examples, we have Fish Patrick, this Albacore tuna, Steel blueberries, and the Diversity Farms produce. 3 of the local sources we're buying from and feeding our children. This also allows us to purchase from some of the larger producers, Ocean Spray, cranberries, through Bandon, because some of those farmers are part of the Ocean Spray large operation. It helps us with our buying power as a small entity getting into that. The goal is to continue to seek the best quality for an affordable price through constant review, get a variety of new foods, and securing trustworthy sources. We like our local producers. We're also able to expand our reach, so we're feeding more students. Another thing that Tom brings great value with is the ODE maintains a surplus site. When a large school district has too much an item, they put it on the surplus site. They literally, first person to grab it can collect it. So cases of fruit or fruits, vegetables, sauces, frozen meat, berries, vegetables. He pays attention actively to that, and our freezer is always full. He has to pay attention. Does he have room to get the items that somebody else is wanting to surplus, and we bring it in? So over the past 18 months of doing this, he's able to acquire $36,318 worth of product from other sources for free, but to our benefit, which offsets our need to purchase those items with our general money. The other item that he's doing, he was paying attention to our reimbursement to our summer food program. Our numbers have increased from previous year to this year. We've seen an increase in our reimbursements serving students of $18,000. And because of the savings overall, averaging out, we've seen our expenses go down $16,000. So that's a $34,000 swing in productivity between savings and getting more students to eat, serving more students, and collecting the reimbursements that come with it. So his attention to detail, service to students, getting his staff doing high level work, he has really brought value through food service for our district, and I think deserves to be commended. So this is from Tom Halbert, our food services director.
Thank you, Tom.
Is the surplus food extra?
You get too much, your freezer's too full, you have to take that. And what I understand, and Tom could do it better, when the federal government's going to give you your commodity, they're going to deliver, you have to have space. They're delivering, it's coming now. And if you need to clear some stuff out, that might be items you put on your surplus. We have the benefit of this large freezer in the warehouse, and a lot of small districts don't have this capacity. The freezers we have in our kitchen is a more typical thing we see in small schools. So having a storage ability, so we can just take what we need to the schools for them to access, is what's one of the reasons that Tom is able to do these. Most small schools can't touch this. They don't have a person able to spend the time watching it, but then they got no place to put it if they get it. So this warehouse is a benefit for our food services. Our city's aware of it too in case of an emergency. I mean, in worst case scenario, tsunami, and you got some storage.
I assume he's cataloging that and managing that as well, so that,
To the detail,
yeah,
to the detailing, he's highly organized, and he
you
brings.
come to my house.
What?
You come to my house.
Come to your house.
I don't know where that fish came from.
Yeah, he's to the penny on things. He's a detailed person.
Thanks for the good news. I like that.
I've asked the 2 building leaders to share staff with us tonight to review MAPS testing. So Jerry, would you introduce your staff? MAPS testing is our 3 times a year testing measure where our students are at.
I will defer and I will have Missy introduce the elementary department.
Okay, we'd like to introduce two of our top five teachers, sixth grade Becky Walls, and also our everything lady, Julie Dole. And we're trying to decide what MAPS are, our assessment we use for MAPS, and how far we've actually come. We're going to be comparing data from the winter of 2023 to this winter of 2025. So that's with the pandemic, well, you know, all the good stuff.
Can you tell us what MAPS is an acronym for?
Yeah, it's a description, it's an assessment tool to help educators use the best instructional decisions, make them for our students and decide our literacy interventions per building. And also just to help teachers design
Measure
lessons.
academic progress.
Yeah.
Perfect. Thank you.
Can you say that?
Measure,
I can do all
it's
this.
in your agenda, page 2, measure of academic progress.
This is why John and I work. He does that and then I do all the planning.
Right here for me, so.
I know.
Yes.
That's me.
Thank you.
All right, so I think we have more good news kind of to share too. So we started for math in winter of 2023 with only 58% of students who are not in the red zone. And then now we're up to 69% of students who are out of that red zone for an 11% increase. In language usage in the winter, we were at 52% that were not in the red zone. Again, an increase for winter of 25 that we're up to 69% not in the red zone, which is a 17% increase. In reading in winter of 23, we were at 59% not in the red, and a big jump here up to 73% not in the red for winter for a 14% increase.
That's incredible.
Yeah,
Is this
That's nice.
both schools together?
this is just Highland.
So it's that sheet is just that, right? That's nice. And is that kind of a predictor or, I mean, is there any sort of data analysis you can give from that?
We dive pretty deep into it,
Yeah.
as it guides our instruction 100%.
Yeah.
So, we're monitoring those kids who are left there and continuing.
Yeah. I'm a really bad math person and that should be 24%.
Oh, 24%. Sorry, I almost said that too out loud. Yeah, the 14% should be 24. I was thinking it as I read it.
I taught math for like 20 years.
Yeah, 14.
Reading category, so you would get.
Okay, good.
Oh, okay.
So what's the measuring, the extra measuring level between, you know, from red zone to the next?
It varies per grade level, so it's a certain amount, they could be, say, RIT score. So certain percentage, it's chunked by grade level and it's different, so it's lower for lower kids or for younger kids. And it climbs.
So your sixth grade, for example.
In
What does
the
sixth grade look like?
In the fall, to be in the green, for example, for reading, I think it's about a 214. I would have to look specifically, but that is the number that we use.
Okay.
So yeah, we're saying, what majority of our students are out of that red zone, the intensive instruction zone.
And are there yellow zones and orange
No.
zones?
And blue, and not above grade level as well, yeah.
So some of the current literacy interventions we're doing, right now we're doing a kindergarten deep dive. So we have some students that meet for about 10 to 15 minutes with an instructional assistant per day, practicing letter names and sounds to increase foundational skills, so that they've got those skills so they can start doing the blending and reading. We're going to start the new program hopefully soon. Striving Readers, we're gonna do one-on-one for about an hour after school instruction guided by certified teacher to provide targeted individual instruction. So we're gonna look at a few students to start with and work with them to try to get those skills that they need, a little more targeted. Our smart readers, they come in and read with first and second grade. But collaboration with this community-based program that brings community members to our school to enhance reading skills. They've formed a new group for us that are gonna target our current fourth grade students. Those were our kiddos that were in kindergarten during COVID. They were our halftime kindergartners. So we're going to hopefully get that started as soon as we get permission slips back. So we're really excited about that, to give those kids one more chance to practice reading with adults. And one of the things we're working on is some interventions. So kinder through fourth grade, we have a pretty solid intervention library. We have a variety of resources to meet our students' needs. But we are starting to work on building intervention library for our fifth and sixth graders to meet a wider range of those students' needs. We're looking into a couple programs now. Hopefully we have title funds that we'll be able to purchase some more materials. So we're excited about that. This is the first year in a long time we've actually been able to pull our sixth graders for interventions. So that's been a huge deal for us this year. So we're excited about that.
Are they pulling in, I'm sorry, are they pulling in to the lab?
Yeah.
They used to for, and.
Yep. So we have currently, I think the number about 68 students, K-6, that are coming down to, I guess, my borough for title interventions. So, yeah.
So not in the red, is the red the bottom, like you're below grade level? So this all encompasses kindergarten through sixth grade?
Yeah, correct. Yeah.
So in 23, 58% of the students were not in the red.
Correct.
So the other 42% were, right? Okay, so we moved up 11% out of the total grade.
Yeah.
Or the total kindergarten. So how many students was that? Do we know?
Not for grade school.
That's cool.
Yeah, the school wide.
That's school.
Yeah.
So that's how many, 200 and some odd students?
Probably in 2023, probably closer to 300. I was guess. That's a guess on my part.
It averages around
284.
Yeah.
started.
It's decreasing like that.
Nice job. Good work.
And thank you for being a reader on this morning.
Yeah, appreciate that. It's open, there's positions available. There are.
We have lots.
I wanted to read, but they didn't have me Hank the Cow Dog.
Try to find you one.
Well, those are kind of,
Those are impressive.
yeah, those are good numbers to hear.
For our high school, we have Jessica Hitchcock and Kaylee Lasky, two outstanding teachers we have. They're not.
So we can start with reading for grades 7 through 11 as we don't test our seniors. We noticed right away that 70% of our students who tested are out of the red, which is significant because that is a 13% increase from the 2022-2023 school year. And furthermore, of all of our students that tested, 25% of them are in either that green or blue category, which is the 61st to 100th percentile for reading. So that is really awesome. For language usage, we see 71% of our students out of the reds. That puts us at a 12% increase from the 2022-2023 school year. And again, we see 26% of our students in that green or blue in that 60 to 100th percentile.
And then I've got junior high math and then 11th grade math. Those are the only ones that take state testing for math at our school. So from the 2023 school year, we're up 12% for 7th and 8th grade math with 69% out of the red. And then that top blue green zone, the 61st to the 100, is 21% of those 7th and 8th graders, which is awesome. And then for our 11th graders, this teacher's out on maternity leave, so not all of our students were able to finish this test in time before we took the data, but 11% of them are up from the 22-23 school year, with 61% out of that red zone.
Why haven't we got all this information on the billboard coming into Reedsport? I mean, we should be celebrating this and advertising it to the hill, standing on the mountain. Yeah.
Spring, maybe it's spring.
Good comeback.
Big sign.
I know. That is good news. That's, I mean, holy smokes. When,
Can we get a press release on that and maybe get that word out?
Oh, and didn't something really good happen today? How many kids got free bulk out of the bulk vending machine because they met their AR goals? There were 45 second through sixth graders that earned their AR goal. And then there were 10 kindergartners who, their goal is to know all their sight words for the quarter. So there were 10 kindergartners and 45 second through sixth graders that got to pick a book out of the book vending machine because they met their goals.
That was such a cool.
You're like, we get to take this home, you know, like, that was pretty.
and we can get all this information on the website tomorrow?
I asked for some videos to be pushed out tomorrow as soon.
And maybe get it in the big display case when you walk through the front door to high school.
Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe get the shop class and make it that post about it, put it 3-dimensional. No, that is great news, lady. Thank you so much. I mean, keep up the good. Right?
City council,
That's exciting to hear.
that's the information.
Press release to the world paper and the Sayusta News.
We don't want the kids getting too ahead of the.
Yeah. No, yeah.
They sent it to Sayusta.
We're Melton. That would be.
There you go.
And when will they state test again so that this can be,
Spring.
spring? Okay.
So
Yes, we do two maps and state tests.
the state test is once a year, and that's after
May 1st, after May 1st.
after May 1st with state testing. That's Oregon's Smarter Balance maps testing we do internally and do that fall, winter, spring.
So when do you get the results from the state test?
Like a day before they get done usually. It updates pretty quickly now.
Does the state get maps information, or will they just get the one 20-year? So it's kind of like
It's all
a
new
test
to the kid.
kind
Yeah,
of thing.
it's great.
We need maps testing to more regularly assess where we're going. So we're changing intervention groups. If a kid is suddenly figuring it out and we're putting them in intervention, it might be better for us to move that student out of intervention, bring another one in, use some help, and just keep a constant pulse on where students are at throughout the year.
Mhm.
Is the curriculum specific for this, the maps, or is it something that the teacher put together to achieve those numbers?
It's standardized.
Yeah, so it's aligned to our standards, our state
Okay.
standards.
Not the only district using it. There are many others around. It's pretty prevalent in Oregon.
So what do we think the success is based on? Is it just finally getting traction after COVID, kind of coming back and being really?
It's all the work the teachers are doing.
Well, I know that, but like, what is the, what is the thing? Like, what's the sauce? Secret sauce?
Higher standards, maybe, just within the classroom after
Butts
kids.
off?
Well, yeah, we went so far that way that we just wanted it back.
It's a matter of
Wanted that.
pride and
Yeah,
work ethic.
it's everything.
High school since 4 years now, IRE religiously, and even when we couldn't get the Ford grant this summer to do it, they still came in and invested time to be sure that their practices in instruction continue to grow so that they're focusing on getting those outcomes because of what they do. So teachers are working harder with focus on the students can do as a result. And that's both buildings. So expectation and standards, but just putting in the time and the hard work.
Well, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Say that right? Yeah.
Nice try.
Okay, you wanna continue, John?
I'd like to note in the reports, you have a flyer from Make-A-Wish. Make-A-Wish Foundation has identified one of our Read Support students for a Make-A-Wish. And on April 29th, there is going to be calling it a community carnival. They're asking, Make-A-Wish reached out to me as a superintendent, said, can you arrange for students to be released early on that day? That's a Tuesday, that's a calendar school day. The board could make an action to reduce the school day to, I would suggest 1 o'clock. We would have technically a full day of school, but the kids will be out 2.5 hours early. That would make them available as part of the community to participate in this community activity. By doing that, we have to have an action because you are changing the school calendar. Gives us the authority to tell parents, they start planning this now. Your kids will be home early on that day. And we need to be ready for them. I would offer that at that point, teachers they are expected to work that day, but we might extend the opportunity for them to participate in this as well. We wouldn't release them from afternoon off. They either stay and work or they could participate in Bub's Fest, depending on what they need. There's talk about having the schools and student groups participate in the parade that day. So that might allow for preparation, getting kids to parade, floats. So that was an ask from the Make-A-Wish Foundation.
Would they have to make up 2.5 hours somewhere else?
Jump as a full day. High school would be tricky. They would either have to modify shorter class periods that day. Because usually we just take 2 off.
Took 10 minutes off of class.
Yeah, they'd have to do something. Elementary teachers would make similar adjustments, but they've got a more contained group. It's a little easier for them. A lot to figure out preps and stuff, but it probably is a good cause. We don't, this is 7 years. I've not seen Make-A-Wish come to town in my tenure. It's.
Can we make that decision under action?
It's Congress here that you decided to do.
It's action agenda.
Oh, yeah. You get carried away with my notes. Okay, anything else, John?
Alice training. We do annual lockdown drills as part of the law in our school district. And we do that because we know that more and more school shootings are happening in the United States. And we know that while students are not dying from school fires, students and staff are dying in school shooting incidents. So Alice, or I love you guys, programs are curriculums, but methodologies for us to follow in performing lockdown drills with our staff and with our students. 2 years ago on I-5, there was a swatting event from California to Washington, and schools all up and down I-5 were put in a lockdown. And after that, one of the actions of our Sheriff Hamlin was to get the superintendents of the area, schools of the area together and say, in Douglas County, we will use I love you guys procedure so that when we as the sheriff department call a school, we speak the language you've trained in. And likewise, you will know the language we're speaking because you were trained that way. So the expectation within Douglas County is I love you guys. Reedsport Police Department has brought up a practical reality that I guess I'd like to hear a little bit from the board. The Siuslaw school districts, North Bend school districts use the ALICE program. A little bit different thinking, but structurally very similar. And the police department here believes that if there's a call for mutual aid, that the responding departments more likely will be North Bend or Siuslaw than officers from Roseburg.
Well, there's Douglas County Sheriff on this side of the county. It's not that
Yeah.
the sheriffs are always coming from
Right.
Roseburg.
We do have local Douglas County sheriffs on site. They got a field office downtown. They are around. So,
Right.
I think if I'm going to encourage them, we spent time with superintendents, with our sheriff, saying that we want to be on the same page. When you call us 911 and you speak language, we want to know exactly what you need without question. But I don't want to just blatantly disregard what our police department is telling us here locally. I think we would suggest that we stick to what our sheriff is saying, because
So
they're
is
a
there-
good communication source.
Is there a conflict between the police department and the sheriff's office?
I think just a lack of clarity between them. The
Well, that's the confusion then, right?
the communications hub is going to be Douglas County Sheriff's. So
Okay.
communications is not going to be local police
All right.
department.
Is it worth kind of knowing the structure of Alice, sort of having your administrators understand Alice without having to go through?
Alice training builds on protocols of I love you guys, in that there's more of an encouragement of fighting back. That if you are trapped in a classroom and an event is happening, that if the door were to break open and somebody is standing in the doorway, throw everything you got, staplers and desks and books, and it's a different level of extension of what to do in those types of crises. It's two different schools of thought, and how much we want to train students to do. Alice training says from sixth grade up, teach them to fight back.
Well, now might be a good time because they just had a barricaded subject incident down in Coos Bay, last week, and they had 14 different police agencies involved in that one subject. And when I was on the force and Thurston happened, Kip Kinkle, there was 27 different police agencies. So, I mean, if we had a situation, I can foresee OSP sending their SWAT team, and one of their SWAT teams is stationed in Bend, Oregon. They would roll right away. I mean, they would start coming this way. One was in Eugene, one's in Salem. So I think now would be a good time to get this worked out. If we're gonna go into this, so that we have the best advantage we can have. And pray to God, nothing like that ever happens, but, we'll be ready and we'll feel, I don't know if you can feel good about something like that, but we'll feel that we know, we have the best advantage we can have.
Am I going to be opposed by the board if I really try to push our local police department into understanding the I love you guys, which is going to be the communication that we get out of a sheriff's office? Got feelings on that? And you're not having to vote on this. If people start complaining though, that's where you just have to be aware of why we're doing something.
How do our building administrators feel about it?
What you're feeling right now is you're marinating on it. It, makes sense to me that, in Reedsport, the first responders are Coos Bay and Florence. We know that. We do know there's sheriffs here. I wish that, I think you said it earlier, why aren't we just all working 15 to 20 minutes or a further route? Why can't we all work together and figure out what we're gonna do so that we can all be on board? What did you say about it too?
I said, well, I've had Alice. I love you, I feel they build on each other. They're very similar. I think that Alice it really is about communication, and that what are you gonna do? I don't like to teach kids that you fight back. I think that that's a difficult thing. I would much rather do other things. But I mean, I've seen it, they barricade doors, they stack desks, and the philosophy about fighting back is they're distracting the shooter is the whole point. And that causes chaos, and they won't want to shoot because there's too much going on. But I did say, we do need to work together and figure it out, like, I know North Bend does Alice, I think Coos Bay's moved away from Alice and is doing, so I think every district does something different.
So I'm confused. Well, you're saying Coos Bay and Florence will respond to read.
For 100% will. We have an event.
And who has situational control?
We just have different words and different communication.
Command is probably going to be our sheriff department, and we do have the two on average deputies who are out and about in Winchester Bay and us. So our chief is here, and then as the sheriff officers, whoever's in charge of them get here, I'll take over. I mean, they have their incident command structure set. We don't, change that for them. Reedsport will 100% respond. We had an event 4 years ago. We had state police, county, and Reedsport all the same.
So Ridgeport doesn't respond to all of you guys? I mean, that's not.
They will all respond. For us, it's a matter of when somebody calls, says, John, lock your buildings down. And having the same language.
Yeah.
People say lock down and lock out. Lock down is lights off, you're in the desk, you're hiding in the corner. Lock out is simply secure the perimeter of
Okay.
teaching, but language, if lock out is something to you and it's something different to me, we can confuse each other what the intent needs to happen in the building. So the language being used has to be real precise.
That will be our value department then.
Yeah, if that's what our call center, 911 call center is going to dispatch back to us, we need to know what they're telling us to do. We don't want a secure perimeter, we should be sheltering.
What about training for staff, students?
We will always train before we do students because thinking about a kindergartner, train the teacher, and they're gonna spend a couple of weeks talking with their kids, and then how that's gonna look and conduct the drill. So the teacher training, the staff training, is followed by the student education and the drill.
I know you had mentioned that Alice training for staff can be more traumatic and more intense.
So another level of this, there is an interest with the Reedsport Police Department of having a larger scale practice. The value of that is how often do they get into our buildings and practice what they may have to do in the worst case scenario. So I absolutely 100% want them to practice. I want them to have access. I don't think they should practice students because of the potential of scare the jabbers out of some kiddo. Now, if we have volunteer high school students and they want to be part of practices, there might be a mechanism, but it would need to be done.
Saturday,
Do it in a controlled way with parents knowing what's going on with the student. The problem is that. Alice training can be fairly intensive and to the point of having your staff practicing procedures with people firing blanks outside in the hallway and walking into the doors and covered up, but having staff throwing objects out of it just to see this is what it's going to sound like, look like, smell like, be like. And that level of practice, whenever I do, me personally, we're part of a lockdown drill. It just hits me because we're practicing something that we never want to see happen. And the anxiety, the worry about that this could happen hits very hard. I would be concerned if staff were doing progressively more realistic practices, the level of anxiety, trauma, stress that they're going to go through would be pretty high. So I want to be smart about not thinking staff who are here for education, instruction, learning trying to run them through something that they never want to come across you ever again because it's too hard on them. Emotionally, physically, mentally.
So these are very smart people that we have on staff.
100%.
And I know that if I do a training, I'm not necessarily doing a hands-on practicum for that training every time. And I would think that people could incorporate elements of the training without having to go through the trauma of, I wouldn't want to ask anybody to have to go through that. But, seems like there's a benefit to knowing both protocols so that there is some awareness of the protocols throughout the staff.
There is a point of thought too that's important, and John, I don't know if you know this, but as teachers, we were trained in Alice. That's what Matt Smart had trained us in, and that's what we practiced as far as lockdown. I don't know if that makes a difference to you.
I personally view Alice as the lockdown portion of I Love You. Because that's specific to what you're doing in a lockdown.
And I Love You is the command central. We communicate so are they mutually exclusive?
No, they're not exclusive. They overlap quite a bit.
Well, that makes sense. Yeah. I would just, I would get feedback from staff about what level of.
So.
They want to have rubber bullets fired at them. I don't know. I mean,
No.
They heard. I guess I want you to be aware that we aren't trying to prevent our police from practicing. We are going to train our staff and to do these things. And they are very hard emotionally on people, physically on people, but we need to do this.
Well,
Coaching our local PD into operating within the structure of our sheriff isn't because I'm trying to create waves problem. I just want to be sure that also comes in.
Values of the local police department, know what door is what. You can look at a drawing and say, yes, it's actually getting in and looking around the building. There's benefit.
John, personally, I would like you to look into this more, but with something in the back of your mind that Reedsport usually has only one police officer on. Douglas County Sheriff's Office out of the Reedsport Annex only has one deputy on. If that deputy is assigned clear over past Scottsburg, he's 29 minutes out. I backed up a North End police officer one time when I was working, and it only took me, I got in trouble for it, but it only took me 19 minutes to get to North Bend. Back up that officer and shoot him. So when to get back to that, I would like us to hopefully work with both Florence and North Bend, Coos County, just so, because, at any given time, they have 3 to 5 officers on in those cities. And, work with what, they're doing. Alice, or we love you guys, and then, see if we can't get Sheriff Hamlin to buy into that with us. So, because those responses from Florence and North Bend and probably Coos County are getting quicker. When I worked here, we were required to live in the city as a police officer. Now, I don't know, requiring officers to work. They live in Florence, they live clear down North End, they live out Haynes Inlet. And so call them from home to come in, it's gonna take them a good amount of time to get here. Or like if the deputy happens to be of Scottsburg, Queens, to get here, you're gonna have one police officer to man, a situation until backup arrives. So, maybe in the back of your mind, keep that in, when you're talking to North Bend, talking to Florence, talking to Coos County, and then maybe make a contact again with Sheriff Hamlin and say, hey, here's what we've learned, and not to begrudge you or belittle you, but we're out here kind of all by ourselves at this point in time, and we need stuff that help that fast.
Is there integration between Coos and Florence, Law's sheriff's departments in this?
You're talking about Lane County and Coos County Sheriff Departments, and I don't know how much integration we have body.
Yeah.
I don't know how much they cross train with each other. really got a lot of similarities. We each have a different sheriff.
When I was on the force, we trained more with Coos County than we did with Douglas County. And
But you just said that Coos County, you think is moving away from Alice?
Coos School District.
Coos Bay School District or Marshall School District.
I guess check with me if you are hearing complaints and concerns. I'm not trying to get us in trouble with either district or either department, but I do want to be sure that we have the best response that is going to serve us and our students.
okay, anything else for John?
Enough.
Thank you, John. All right, let's move to the consent agenda. These are actions of the routine or usually call for no discussion, such as approving minutes of previous meetings, acceptance of donations, and similar actions are often handled together in one vote by the board. Under the consent agenda will be A, approved board minutes for December 10th, B, approved board minutes for January 8th, C, approved 2025, 2026 licensed personnel. D is approved certified and administrative hire, Robin Haddock for elementary sped teacher and district sped director. Approved certified and administrative resignation and retirement of Connie Kaufman, first grade teacher, retiring at June 13th, 2025.
Next page, letter G.
So. And G is accept the donation from the Boosters for half the subscription cost of Huddle, which provides tools for coaches and athletes to review game footage and improve team play. The Boosters are giving $4,250 towards the Huddle deal.
Can I ask a question about that?
Yeah.
It's okay to discuss. Is the school then on the hook for the remaining 50%?
The school district had to sign the contract. We've had conversations about how to make sure that the remaining money is fundraised. Because it's not part of our budget.
Right, I mean, that's my concern. I don't see any place in our budget where $4,200 for a sporting event, camera is there, so I guess, what's that conversation look like for fundraising?
For fundraising, they've got to fundraise the other half, and there's a pretty resolute belief that they're gonna be able to fundraise enough money.
From the community and, okay.
Yeah.
Is this all the sports teams getting together to do the fundraising?
And I don't remember the specifics of what the fundraiser is, Bonnie, I can get back to you. I think they're doing multiple car washes and they're gonna do pretty well with those.
But what I mean is the different, like football, basketball, baseball, wrestling, those, are they integrating all together?
I'm not sure which student athlete groups are gonna be involved in that process, and it might vary.
And is there an eye towards, so these, as far as I understand, the Huddle tool is only used for specific team sports? And is there an eye towards some equity in how we, spend money, raise money to bring attention to other sports that it's not used in?
Right now, the Huddle system we have for football, volleyball, and is any sport in the gyms. It's fixed. I don't know what.
I know
capacity is.
our cross-country kids they don't have uniforms, like they're sort of struggling with uniforms. And I know that those are, I would just like to see, we spend an enormous amount of time, money, energy focusing on sort of the grade A sports. And I understand why for participants, but I also,
Well, trying to find somebody that's gonna pack that camera to follow cross-country runners 84 acres of golf course is gonna be kind of tough.
Saying that you use Huddle for cross country,
Oh.
but, you know, I would like to see our cross country, you know, teams celebrated, our track and field celebrated. I would like to see the same sort of attention that we focus on, you know, indoor gym sports.
I will relay those messages to the sports programs.
Yeah, they're aware and they're working towards that, so it's not a criticism.
Mr. Chairman, you said it correctly. I just want to emphasize that the written agenda is A through E and letter G, but you have removed item F from the consent agenda.
That is correct.
Are we addressing that now?
Please. I didn't make a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve the consent agenda as written, including items A, B, C, D, E, and G.
Second. Second.
Yeah. Motion been made by Bob, seconded by Jack to approve the consent agenda with items A, B, C, D, E, and we have F and G. All in favor? Raise any hand and say aye.
Aye.
Passes unanimously. Thank you.
My question was, are we going to address the omission? Or is you gonna do that at the end?
Yes. I can do it now if you'd like.
Okay. Seems like it's.
One of the donations we omitted was a donation to purchase personalized softball uniforms. There's been several people listed to donate money. And we just, what I think we need to stress, and we want to thank the folks that went out and raised the donations, but to have personalized jerseys. Once the donation's made, the jerseys become, just property of the school district. So if that person's, not going to play that sport next year or leaving school, then you've got a jersey that's going to sit in storage for a long time until A, a sibling comes along that's going to play that sport, or B, it's never going to get used. So it seems like, to wear a warm up, to personalized warm up, if they want to do that, and parents, be able to purchase that, or a T-shirt or something like we do for the little kids, that would be a much more understandable donation.
Well, and if they wanted to go ahead with the personalized jerseys, they certainly could, but they would be their own and they would own them and they would not be the property of the school.
And the school would have to accept that we're using those items. That the school does have a complete set of softball uniforms.
Okay.
Last year was the first year of use.
Okay.
If the coach is prepared to use by the school, need to be careful of a donation that isn't attending to the team's receptiveness to receive the donation. So it's awfully gracious. People have to put a lot of time and energy into this. It really needs more coordination, and the personalized part of it really is problematic for us as a school district, because how we dispose of our assets, we would not be able to use them a second time, and then disposing of them feels wasteful. The uniform should last 3 to 4 years. And if you use it once and then can't ever use it again, feels not very grateful.
But it is an amazing effort in community support, and we are, I think, very grateful for those members of the community to take that time and effort. So I don't want that to go unnoticed, for sure. I know.
Right.
Hopefully they can maybe rechannel this in a different type of a donation that are interested in supporting that program.
How do we communicate that to them? Red letter or?
And communicate with the sports department that received the donation, explain what's going on, and
Has this personalization already happened?
I don't think, but I'm not sure. Bonnie.
Okay. Action items. Approved budget committee calendar. Entertain a motion? Are we going to use the amended date on the 19th instead of the 20th?
Sure.
That's what we need.
I'll make a motion to approve the budget committee calendar with the amended date of May 20th and May 19th and 29th. Same times.
Motion has been made by Carrie O and seconded by Bonnie to approve the budget committee calendar with the new date on May 19th. All in favor, signify by raising your hand and saying aye.
Aye.
Thank you, passed unanimously.
I'll make a motion to approve the $30 annual buyback for seniors who would like to keep their district signed Chromebook.
Second. Been moved by Carrie O and seconded by Bob to approve the $30 buyback for seniors who would like to keep their district assigned Chromebooks. All in favor, signify by raising your hand and saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, thank you. Passed unanimously.
I will make a motion to approve the early release for Bubs Fest on Tuesday, April 29th, 2025 at 1 p.m.
Second.
Motion been made to approve to allow schools to be released for Bug Fest. Made by Carrie O, approved by, seconded by Bob. All in favor, raise your hand, say aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Passes unanimously.
And the added agenda item I make a motion to approve the superintendent's contract as presented. Second.
And I'd like to add, before voting on this action, update the superintendent contract. Reedsport School District Board of Directors wants to assure the audience and the community that there's no money being added to this contract. Times when the superintendent and district are working to conserve money and make difficult decisions regarding our budget and finances, both the board and the superintendent felt it would be inappropriate to add money to this contract. The contract has been extended in term one more year and places a schedule on some pre-existing language in the superintendent's benefit package that clarifies the benefits that does not increase them. And I'll call for the vote. All in favor of approving this superintendent's contract, raise any hand and say aye.
Aye.
Thank you, very good. Passes unanimously. Are you here for another week, John? You get sharing coffee. Okay. Under discussion, statement of economic interest. Filing opens March 15th and closes April 15th. Our favorite thing. Any discussion?
What are the fines again?
The fines? Oh, they're
Significant and daily. I'm making this number up, it's like $25 a day to a certain point, and then it jumped again. So it's a real serious fine, the Ethics Commission.
Yeah, for volunteering.
And you said for the second year, it's fairly easy to fill out, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Just gonna.
When I do it, I call them up and just indicate I don't have any changes in my finances. They don't have any major operational changes that would be of interest to that.
So we have to call them to tell them.
And there's, you can do it online too. I mean,
It'll come on, you can be able to do it online.
They'll guide you through it if you call them. It's 5 minutes.
And, but I think there's a maximum. I think that they'll quit finding you if you reach up to $5,000.
Oh, that's generous.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's if you're the board,
It's just pocket change. I mean.
the board member or on the budget committee. People, you have to report. It's just a board member, right? Every year, you gotta call up and tell them.
Oh, you just.
That's what we're talking about. Yeah, it's not a big deal. It's,
Even Jack will do it.
yeah, I do.
It's not.
And Jack will do it.
No, Jack.
Volunteer.
And it'll look like we need to,
Do it.
board members, looks like we need to go out and dig up one more budget committee member.
I'm working on it.
I'll contact mine. She hasn't responded yet, but I think we're
The list of names, I spoke to one person, who's on that list, Christina Horvis. She is not legally prohibited from participating again, but at a practical level, she's not able to vote because she is subbing in the district and she'll be voting in the budget committee about directly her work.
Conflict of
So having to recuse herself on each element of the voting kind of makes it practically very impractical for her to probably do that. I've spoken with her about that. She understands. So that position probably will need a seat still.
Okay, contacting my member now.
Okay. Is there any? Oh, sorry. Is there any new community requests for community comments? On that screen, John?
No.
There are no, there are no
Thank you.
comments.
Mr. Euling, is there anything that you'd like to add about your building?
We, our, second quarter, ICU list, dropped from right around 500 to 297.
Nice.
Missing assignments. That didn't.
Wait, 500 last year.
It was 500 at the end of the first quarter, so we go by quarters. It
Right,
was 700 last year.
right.
So we cut by 200 at the end of the first quarter, and at the end of the second quarter was under 300. It's like 296. So I was shooting for 300, so we were 3 or 4 underneath that, which was really good.
Are people still staying actively engaged?
What's that?
People are still staying actively
Oh,
engaged.
yeah.
Parents are using it, they're.
Yeah, they get a thing for every time one's filled out, and then they get it when they have it completed. We do have a few students that have many, but the number of students that are on it are decreasing, so that's good.
And aspiring future principal, Mrs. Watts, what do you got from your building?
I think our best report so far is part of my evaluation process with John is taking our information and incident referrals from last year to this year, and we're down significantly by the hundreds. So
By the hundreds.
Is that all? We're doing a really great job with team. And yeah,
That's
very much. I can get specific numbers for you.
Feels better, doesn't it?
It does.
Feels really good.
It does.
Thank you.
I want to find out who the young man was that made the cheesecake that we bought last night at the dessert auction. Because it was, I mean, it was the most wonderful cheesecake in the whole world. I couldn't even taste it, but I mean, it's just so light and just, smell is great. I mean, that's how I judge my eating habits nowadays is my smell. And it was so light, it was just, oh my gosh. So, and then I got a text from Sherry Wall, $1,280 at the auction at the halftime of the 2 games last night for project graduations.
Very nice. Very nice.
And one of the parents from Bandon came, caught me before I got out the door and went up and I said, Mr. Jones, we want you to come do an auction for us. Holy smokes. All right, board member comments. Bob,
I'm good. Thank you.
Jack Daly,
Yeah, I'm good.
Bonnie Brewer.
I am thrilled to see the progress through maths testing and behavioral. It's just blows my mind. I'm just really pleased. Thank you for what you're doing. Appreciate that. Truly.
And yeah, I'm gonna jump on the same sentiment because that should be shouted to the heavens and put on a billboard. I mean, people in this town need to know that and I mean, we can't display that enough. Also, food service director Tom, he's been doing a heck of a job as we heard from John's report and I got a call from a friend of mine they work for Thurston at the 4J school district. And all she could do was brag about the tuna fish that they got from Winchester Bay. And they, you know, it's clear over there now, and it's like, well, don't buy any more because that stuff's too good to share over there. But and shout out to Michael Shoppy. Had a couple of situations and passed them on to John. John passed them on to Michael, and they got taken care of. And you know, people in the community are noticed, and I was just shocked at how fast, you know, the word got back to me that Michael was taking care of the problem. And I mean, it's like, what do you guys have a television or anything? You know, it's so fast. Driving around more often, so great job, and you know, the numbers are exciting, and you know, I think we're in a good place, and we keep moving forward, so. Carry over.
You're here. Yeah, no, it's great to see the progress and really just, absolutely incredible to hear about how significant a shift we've had happen from, say, end of last year to middle of this year, and it's all the credit of the staff and the teachers, the administration, and to the benefit of the students. Thank you for your hard work.
I'm gonna jump back and steal a little more time. Who was the young lady that sang the national anthem for the boys basketball game last night?
Oh, that was Nicole Gordon. She's the youth pastor for Eastport Church of God. Yes, because Miss J is very sick. She has the plague that everyone has and is on a nebulizer. She did a great job, and I think she's been asked to sing this tournament in Marshfield or North Bend, whatever it is. Yeah, the 3-day tournament.
And you know, right after that, Pep Band did the girls' game. And yeah, I tell you what, Mr. Larry Surratt Davis was in heaven, just smiling big time, because they rocked it last night. So if you could rock the national anthem. Okay, future agenda is February 10th through the 12th with the conference. Our superintendent will be attending. February 18th through the 20th. Going to be at that conference at the end of the district. Wednesday, March 12th, regular session board meeting. Staff appreciation lunch provided by the board on Tuesday, March 18th at 10 to 1, and at Highland and at RCC staff appreciation lunch Thursday, March 20th from 10 to 1 at RCCS. Wednesday, April 9th be the regular session board meeting, and the 29th is the Make-A-Wish Bug Fest. And the school will be dismissed at 1 p.m. too, so that we can make that young man's wish come true.
Yes.
Anything else?
We need another, gotta scrape up another budget committee person.
Pardon?
And my wife bailed, so,
Oh, okay.
so, but I'll work.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
I'll work on it.
and with that, ladies and gentlemen, we are adjourned.